What?
David said $27,000 is something that friends can just lend to each other.
$27,000?
Do you agree?
No.
Welcome to YouTube's favorite K-pop show, DK News.
Danny Kim.
David Kim. Today we have some
lots of
hot
tea.
ass tea.
A whole lot of stuff.
Of course, there were great things as well, but at this point, I'm starting to think there is a systematic failure in the K-pop industry, and it's slowly showing up.
Things are falling apart.
The boys Hwal, Stray Kids Woojin, MONSTA X Wonho. These are all the members that have decided to no longer carry on their careers as a K-pop idol, for the moment at least.
And all of this has happened within the last month.
And yesterday, MONSTA X's Wonho and Chunwoo got into a controversy, resulting in Wonho's exit from MONSTA X. Tea is still coming out right now, and I know that everyone is eagerly waiting for that news. But let's first start on with the other groups as well. First off, Hwal from the 12-member boy group The Boys wrote this long handwritten letter to his fans on the 23rd, announcing his leave from the group. Hwal formerly had an injury with his leg and also mentioned in his letter that he was constantly receiving rehab therapy and surgery for his leg. Despite that effort, he stated due to his health problems, he and his family decided it's best for him not to continue his career. There are a lot of reasons, various reasons why idols discontinue their careers, but I think this one in particular, like health reasons.
You can't really blame
Yeah,
them.
you can't really blame them. I mean, there might be other factors. Other people are speculating, like the public who are indifferent to K-pop are like, oh, they weren't that successful. Like, I bet he's just like trying to escape or something like that. But that's all the buzz. But anyways, you have to know that this kind of health problems are very crucial to one person's life.
Right.
This April, Hwal actually lost his father, so it must have been a very tough year for him, like physically and mentally. So, I mean, who can blame him? Okay, the second news, on to Woojin leaving Stray Kids. Everyone was super shocked when JYP suddenly dropped a statement that Woojin was to leave Stray Kids without any further detail on the reason. JYP simply stated it was because of personal issues. This kind of exit in a K-pop group is very rare.
Right.
Leaving the group without any revolving controversy or specific reasons.
So he had nothing, no reason,
No
controversy.
It's just personal issues. Fans are speculating on what the reason might be behind the situation, but there are no solid hints yet. There are malicious rumors going on, such as he's impregnating someone in Hong Kong or whatever.
Where do people get this news?
I don't know, but we want to clarify that is not true. It is not confirmed or anything. It's obviously an attempt to insult Woojin. So we urge you to please do not spread any unconfirmed information on this issue or other idols as well. And meanwhile, Stray Kids will be delaying their new album, Comeback Play, Live Enter, from November 25th to December 9th.
Was he a part of the recording process of that album?
Probably is, but Stray Kids will continue without him.
Yeah.
So, maybe they'll have to re-record. He's the main vocal, so he has a crucial role in the group.
Man, that kind of sucks.
But anyways, in this case as well, we don't know what the personal issue is, and a lot of fans are giving him support, but there is this other group of fans that are saying, like, if you're gonna leave,
At least tell us.
At least tell us,
Well,
because
that's
all the
what I think
support.
too.
All the support we gave you, and you don't even give us an explanation or a comment on it.
I think the fans have the right to know, because any artist, they're there because the fans bought their albums and the fans, supported them. So the least you could do is, when you're quitting your job, at least let people know why you're quitting your job, because they bought all your stuff.
So up to today, Woojin hasn't stated anything personally, although Chan has posted something as a leader that he's still ambitious in Stray Kids and he wants everybody to be happy and stuff like that. But there's no personal words from Woojin. We're still waiting on that. I think he will, but if you just think about it, it was so abrupt, sudden, and they said it's personal issues. So I would think it's very personal.
They could say, oh, it's health issues or it's
Family
issues. I think they could at least let people know what kind of issue it was. As a company and as a group artist, it's it's a nice thing to tell your customers and be transparent about it.
So you're saying personal issues was too vague?
No, it was too vague.
I do think Woojin wants to sincerely say something to his fans, of course, but I do think there's something going on in his personal field, very serious, that he can't really like disclose right now. But he'll probably sort it out and hopefully deliver it to the fans. Hot tea. Now on to the real breaking news.
MONSTA X, Wonho, leaving his group for some allegations that were faced on him. There were a lot of allegations actually, and the first one was former reality TV star named Jung Da-eun posting on her social media that Wonho owes her a large sum of money.
$30,000, right?
27,000 USD. That's huge. Yeah. That's huge, man. Both appeared in a show together a few years back, and according to Jung Da-eun, they were at one point living together and in a relationship.
Sweet.
Well, it turned out it wasn't so sweet because she claimed that during this time, Wonho had borrowed money from her and did not pay back. Starship Entertainment, after these allegations arose, initially denied such allegations, brushing it off as false rumors. Then Jung Da-eun posted another post on her social media the next day, revealing her text messages with Wonho's lawyer.
Wow.
And it wasn't her lawyer, it was Wonho's lawyer, and wrote how while they were living together, he did not pay the rent nor the deposit, and borrowed money from her continuously, and sold her personal belongings on 중고나라, on Craigslist, without her knowledge.
Wow, this is getting all legal.
Despite his promises to pay it all back, according to Jung Da-eun's words, he's only paid her back 2 million won, which is roughly about 1,900 USD.
Not even 1/10.
Not even 1/10. So he acted as if everything's been paid off. Now, Han Seo-hee, everybody's favorite, Jung Da-eun's girlfriend as well, commented on the post. He owes her 30 million won, roughly $27,000 in total. And after this broke out, Starship Entertainment released another official statement yesterday that read, after a long discussion with Wonho, we agreed it's best to part ways at this point. We greatly respect Wonho's decision, who wants to make sure that the recent chain of events doesn't affect the exciting things that are happening with MONSTA X. I mean, MONSTA X just released an album. I think it was on Monday.
Right.
And now this shit happens. I'm sure it's not great for the group. Now, Wonho also wrote a handwritten letter saying that he did not want to cause any damage to the group. He wrote, back in the days as a trainee, I made a few big and small mistakes, but I have never taken part in any shameful act after my debut. I want to apologize to my fellow members for such damage, and I want to say sorry, especially to my fans whom I've disappointed. Following this decision of Wonho leaving, some fans have been outraged and upset, saying that the company is hasty to act without protecting their artists because so far, none of these claims have been confirmed.
Right.
The day after such a thing comes out, they're just like, you can leave now. Unfortunately, this is not the only news that MONSTA X has been enrolled in. Their leader, Shanu, also has faced a controversial situation exposed indirectly by Han Seo-hee and Jung Da-eun. There have been claims made by Han Seo-hee that Shanu has had an affair with a married woman. How can this get any worse? She posted screenshots of a message received by Jung Da-eun from a man who alleged that Shanu was the other man of his wife. The man wrote that he received a similar message as what Jung Da-eun received from Shanu's legal representative when he confronted them regarding the affair. This is really complicated. Starship Entertainment, again, they're really fast, quickly addressed this issue, stating that it's been revealed that Shanu kept in touch with this woman before she got married recently, back in August. She never told Shanu about her marriage, and he's had no clue that she was married until this day. Shanu also expressed that he does not want to get involved in this problem as it is a problem between two married partners. The last time they spoke was back in September. I guess like if Shanu really didn't know about the marriage, he really can't be there to blame. Right.
And these are all allegations. All we have as evidence is those DM screenshots.
Right. Now Jung Da-eun did not stop there. She also talked about Wonho's history of going to juvenile prison in 2008. According to Dispatch, Wonho had stuff that he stole and he went to juvenile prison.
So he was under 19.
Now this morning, on November 1st, Dispatch revealed a report that Wonho had also smoked weed with Chongdan. Dispatch reported a tip from a person called Cho, who was the director and MD at Club Burning Sun. What is Burning Sun, man? Like, seriously? What is this club?
What is this? Like a mafia.
I don't know why is everything connected to Burning Sun? This is so confusing. Mr. Cho is currently in prison for drug charges. They interviewed him while he was serving his prison sentence back in October. He recalled an instance of Chongdan and Wonho smoking weed in October 2013. He was visiting Chongdan's house when he found them smoking weed in the living room.
Wow.
And he said he smelled the weed and he heard Wonho and shit like that.
Heard Wonho what?
No, he just heard Wonho like cough, like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's Danny's.
No, that's just reenactment.
Yeah.
My imagination. I don't know how it feels like to smoke weed. But anyway, Dispatch also interviewed Chongdan twice in October of 2019. She claimed that Wonho had brought the weed and they headed home to smoke it when Wonho was showing off the weed. In September of 2019, police started internal investigations on Wonho's drug use allegations. They deemed that the allegations were rather credible because actually Cho and Chongdan, who were imprisoned in different jails, said the exact same thing, had the exact same testimonies about Wonho's drug use.
So this thing has been going on since September, like the investigation. So it's been like 3 months already. It's nothing really new.
So they did a drug test on Wonho, actually back in September when he was coming back to Korea, but they didn't reveal like what the drug test results were.
We'll know in a few months. Yeah, soon enough.
enough.
So before we go on into our opinions about this case, actually we have a special guest waiting on the line, who is a huge MONSTA X fan and also Wonho stan, Wonho bias.
And a huge YouTuber.
A huge YouTuber as well. So take your guesses until we finish our opinions. Anyways, about Wonho and Chonu, I think Starship has taken too much of a dramatic response to this whole case because they immediately just cut him. Although they said Wonho wanted that, but just as a spectator, I think it's just too much to kick him out from Starship because first of all, his allegations on him, if you see them, not paying back money and weed.
The thing that I don't understand is, it is a big sum of money for a normal person, but Wonho is like probably rich.
Yeah,
why is he not paying back $27,000? MONSTA X is in a rather crucial place right now. They just released a full-length album. You have this shit happening like 2 or 3 days after you release the album.
Okay.
They can't risk that. They're just about to throw away their entire album. They can't promote the album now because
I have
of
different
this.
thoughts.
Another thing is, I honestly don't understand why, if these allegations are true, since, you know, Wonho can pay back, I think that makes it worse. You had all this time, you had 6 years to pay back this money, and you're making a lot of money right now. Weed is like, you know, on the side. What people are most angry about is, and I'm also angry about, is why did this person not pay back to this person?
For this, I mean, we have Chongdan's side right now, and we have to hear Wonho's side, and there must be a story why he didn't pay. Like, there must be like mutual misunderstandings or something like that. Because if Chongdan had rightfully claimed her money, requested her money from Wonho, then there's no reason he wouldn't give it back to her. There must be something underlying, like a reason why he didn't.
I think you're taking too much on his side. People that don't pay back money, well, a lot of times it's because they don't have money, but sometimes even when people do have money, they don't pay back.
It's very weird for me, like all this timing. Dispatch comes after like weed, and then Chongdan like suddenly comes out and claims money and stuff like that. So it sounds very orchestrated. So I think this is like a strategical attack. I mean, we have to hear Wonho's side first.
I'm not saying he did those things, but I would not be going out. Personally, I will be fighting, especially when it's like this little sum of money. Another thing that I don't understand is, if I was Starship Entertainment, if this allegation was true, I would just pay that money, you know, myself.
Yeah,
that's what I don't understand. Like, this
weird.
is such a small sum of money comparatively to what MONSTA X could make, and you're just kicking out a member because this person has these, you know, allegations on it. I would pay like more than gladly, like twice or 3 times the amount of that much money that he has to possibly owe in order to keep him in MONSTA X, because that's gonna end up costing much more.
We have to go into the legal sector and see what unfolds.
Let's see
and
how
now on to our special guest. Let's see what he has to say about this.
Okay.
Hello.
Wow, so pretty.
So, what shall we start with?
Well, David said
What? David said what?
David said $27,000 is something that friends can, like, you know, just lend to each other.
$27,000?
Do you agree?
No.
He says like it's just 3 Gucci bags.
That's like one house.
Even Edward Avila thinks $27,000 is a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Right?
And
Even
like,
Edward thinks.
How close were they?
They were living together.
Right.
Anyways, what was your initial reaction when you heard the Wonho news?
I think, like most people, I was shocked.
Uh-huh.
근데 I don't know, because I feel like a lot of foreign babies are aware of like his past.
Okay.
Where there are pictures of him or whatever.
Mhm.
So for me, I wasn't necessarily. I was shocked, but also I was not so surprised. I think most of the shock came from everything happening at once.
Okay.
There was the one thing first, you know, the whole, I don't know, Me Too sort of thing.
All right.
Yeah, and then the whole money owing thing. 갑자기
Mhm.
things keep coming out.
Right.
The other thing came out.
Right.
So, yeah, I was trying to, all my friends were like, oh my god, Edward, are you okay? Because they all know that he's like my favorite
Right.
idol. I feel like as I'm getting older, and also I'm sure maybe you guys can relate. When you're in Korea and you kind of know a bit about the industry, things like this aren't that surprising because
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that happens. I think it just comes down to not getting caught, I guess.
Oh, you mean weed?
No, in general, though.
Oh,
A lot of
okay.
weird, we all know that, you know, there are a lot of idols that have like weird pasts or whatever.
All right. Yeah.
With the sort of people that he was involved with,
Mhm.
especially, you know, if you saw those pictures from back in the day.
Yeah.
And I know some people that know him, and so that sort of group of people, I mean, that part didn't really surprise me.
Oh.
Wow.
You're saying the part of people, the group of people was kind of like shady?
In a way, yeah.
Well, I understand.
Mon babies will know that one, especially is the type of person, because a lot of the shock comes from the fact that all that stuff that happened in the past doesn't match who he is as a person. Now, because he 열심히 하잖아, like he works so hard now.
Right.
And if you follow him on the fan cafe, he is the most active. He's always interacting with fans, and so fans see him as like this lovable adorable. So if you go on Twitter, everyone's like, "How could anybody hate this baby?" Like, but then all this stuff from his past come up to catch up to him, and so it's like it doesn't match. So I think a lot of shock comes from that as well, especially with the news that came out today. I thought at this point it can only go downhill.
Oh.
So, you know, with his decision to leave the company, whether it was his decision or Starship told him to, I probably think it's better for him to just stay quiet because a lot of fans are asking him to come back to the group. And there's a petition that's being signed.
Yeah, right.
There's always
like
petitions.
170,000 signatures or whatever. But if Wonho chose to leave for himself, you guys know in Korea, even, you know, international fans, they don't, I guess, a lot of them wouldn't mind because, you know, it's in the past or they're human. But for Wonho, I think he didn't really want. Image is everything in Korea, as you guys know.
Right.
One person, even if one person does something in the group, kind of like the whole group is known for that. You know what I mean? So I think he was just trying to protect his other members, but you know, there's stuff with Shono and
Yeah.
So right now, my feelings, but I don't think at any point I felt like depression or like extreme sad for him because he looks really sad. So in that sense, my heart goes out to him, but it's more so I'm sad that it had to go down like this. If we judge by like based on like history or whatever, especially with Dispatch, when one thing comes out,
Right.
Oh yeah.
So,
I would not want to be a celebrity.
Right. So this weed thing being such a big thing in Korea, I don't know what's gonna happen next.
Like honestly, Do you want him to come back or not?
I think everyone would like for him to come back, but I don't necessarily think it would be a good idea for him to come back. And if like I'm trying to imagine myself if I was Wonho, if I were to go back into the group, I feel like every time I went out on stage, I would be like really bad for fans.
Oh,
I'd be worried about all the haters, the anti-there that are like, why are you still here? So I feel like he has a lot of weight on his shoulders. So I wouldn't want that on him personally. A lot of people that are like, he needs to stay. He needs to stay. I feel like it's a little bit selfish in a way. I think it's up to him. I don't. If he comes back, great. But also, I don't know how their promotions would happen.
Right.
Going forward, some of my friends were saying like, like in America or other overseas, they can promote all together. But in Korea, I don't know if it's gonna happen.
No.
I think it's so obvious, and a lot of the fans that have sense know that idols date, idols do whatever.
Right.
It's just that it's the news that comes out, and they're just like, oh god. Even if they're not anti necessarily, they're like, oh well, here we go. Like,
yeah.
And even if they don't become anti, 약간 관심 없어져. Like that's the thing with idols that I think is the reason they're called idols. Like people look up to them, like they're these creatures, these otherworldly beings. But as soon as they do anything human, then they become just like regular people like us.
Right.
And even if you don't realize it, it's kind of stop caring about them because they're just like me. Like what more people are interested in like the really like unreachable sorts of people.
They have to be like unicorns, basically.
Yeah, right. But as soon as they do anything super relatable, then or like superhuman, like doing drugs or like doing those sorts of things, then you lose that fantasy in a way.
Right.
So with Starship, I just feel like they need to do these background checks because I feel like the timing is so weird because these people always wait until they're super famous.
Right.
Then
they're ready.
Like, bully me or like I think they need to be more strict with that, but mostly for the fact that it's gonna bite them in the ass later because not just hurting that idol, it's hurting the group, but also it's hurting Starship's image because you guys are also gonna produce 101 sort of issues. So I don't know, Starship and like their image. I don't know.
Thank you so much, Edward, for being on our show.
Yep.
And I will continue to watch your videos. I'm a fan.
I thought about talking about this on my channel, but I thought it would have been a mess, so I'd rather just have it be on here.
Oh, okay. Everybody's gonna cancel you through here. Anyway, thank you so much, Edward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Peace.
So that was Edward's opinion.
Go to Avila's channel.
He's very realistic.
Yeah.
He's very down to earth.
That's why I like him.
And he predicted that it's going to go downhill from this. So I think he's right.
No, I honestly don't think like this will be the end of Monsta X. Once one thing comes up, then they find another and another. And the more you say, oh, we didn't mean it, the more Dispatch is going to be like, oh, next day, okay, you didn't mean it? Well, let's see if the public thinks you didn't mean it. And here's another weed case. Here's another I don't know what case. So honestly, looking at these kind of cases, it just makes me super scared. If I ever get famous in Korea, I'm gonna be like, oh man.
I mean, Edward did point out that it's his decision at the end. That's a very good point. And of course, he and the company would have thought of a lot of solutions, and the best they came out with is like exiting the group. But at the same time, I do understand the fans that are supporting him to come back, because this is actually a kind of a diss to Monsta X, but at the same time support. Yesterday, after the Wonho case occurred, I've been looking at the trending chart a lot, and Wonho never actually got up to trending number 1. He actually just stopped at like 5 or 6. And what that means is, like, honestly, Monsta X's fan base is hugely based overseas, in my opinion. This could be like a big T for Dispatch, but it's not really brewing that much because, like, Monsta X's relevancy in Korea isn't really that big as much as like they're huge internationally. So it would have been better if like Starship took a little bit more time to consider the other options.
I think weed is, like I said, it's not the biggest issue. There's been tons of celebrities who come back from weed. And people know, like, you know, Korean people think it's like a serious crime, but at the end of the day, people are like, whatever, you know, right? But I think the money part was the bigger issue because Koreans are very sensitive about these kind of issues where celebrities, they don't pay money back. Like for example, Microdot, it's not even him, his parents didn't pay back money, and it wasn't, I don't think it was a big amount. I remember it was less than like $10,000 or something, but it was
no, his parents stole all the money from the village and then flew away.
Okay. So anyway, like rappers like Microdot, he didn't even borrow the money. It was his parents, and they didn't return, and they went to Australia.
Yeah.
Basically, Microdot since last year, I think, hasn't been able to come on TV since because people are very, very mad about these people not paying back money. There's a lot of scammers in Korea. Like it has one of the most highest rates of scam crimes. So Korean people are very sensitive and have a lot of disgust in people taking money and not paying back. I think that's what the biggest problem is for Wonho. And I personally feel, a similar way.
Okay. I just want to say, like, personally, I think he should have just pushed it on and, like...
I don't think he could survive that though. MONSTA X, I think, is kind of not really talked about because it's in the shadows of BTS. MONSTA X is relatively successful in America. I think they're probably the second biggest group.
Like NCT, MONSTA X.
Yeah, in America, at least among the male groups. And they're not really talked about because, we have BTS showing up in the headlines with Wembley, selling out Wembley twice and stuff like that. So they're relatively, not on the radar of general public. And this is like the first time they're really on the radar. Quite honestly, like in at least the past 3 or 4 years, this is the first time they're actually like on people's radars.
And that's the reason I think they have a chance.
And that's the reason why I think this is not good for them because they're the first impression that they had in a while for the general public is, oh wait, this guy didn't pay his money back.
And this guy is having an affair with
that's not a good first impression, man.
But about Shonu though, I don't think there's a big problem with that because like according to the law you have to have like solid evidence that there was an affair, and if the provider does not have a picture or like a recording or whatever, then it's all allegations. So it's not going to be a big problem for Shonu. That's my opinion.
Me too. I don't think.
Wonho is he's already out of the group, but I just wish there were alternative options.
My alternative would be to pay like 3 times the money, settle there, and then move on.
I mean, like, to be honest,
let's not talk about this.
I feel like
sign an NDA. I'll give you like $100,000. Just shut up and let's.
You can see that Dispatch was talking with Chungdaon and the provider of
I would
weed,
want to
right?
ruin this person's life.
So
honestly.
like, Dispatch and Chungdaon would have like conspired together, like, let's end this guy's career or get this enormous amount of money. It's either that or that, and then Starship couldn't actually deliver that amount of money, and then they decided, okay, you're gone.
But what I'm saying is, can we really say like that's something that she shouldn't have done when like you're in that scene? I would have done the same, honestly.
We don't know the details. It's blackmailing in one sort of way. So.
Not paying your debt is also unethical. But anyways,
for that, I'm saying we have to hear Wonho's side.
Okay, let's hear Wonho's side, guys. I'm sorry, I'm probably canceled by now, but whatever, I don't care. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Tell us what you think. I'm really curious. I'm really curious about what your thoughts are.
And keep in mind that these are all ongoing allegations.
Right, these are all ongoing allegations. We're not saying any of this is true. We're just having a normal discussion between bros, yo.
It's very weird times these days in the K-pop industry. All these members exiting. I hope this stops now.
Yeah, let's have some happy time. Christmas is coming. That means we're writing Christmas cards for Patreons at patreon.com/DKDKTV. You can get yours too if you have signed up for us for 6 months, maybe next year, okay? And join now and get your Christmas cards next year. We'll see you guys next time. Merry Christmas! Bye-bye.